Now, before you guys start with, oh, I knew this was going to happen, I told you so, blah, 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 I honestly did not expect this to happen. My plan when I got this car was to just keep it stock turbo, run some off-the-shelf maps, test out some different features, and create content. But this is kind of just an opportunity I can't pass up on. There are a lot of things that I can take advantage of, obviously, with a bigger turbo, and it's just kind of the natural progression of things. Along with, I have a pretty established build on the 440, so this is a cool opportunity to do things differently. So, yes, I am upgrading the turbo. No, I am not doing the same turbo or turbo kit that's on the 440i. We are going to be doing things differently, and in this video, I'll just kind of explain why, as well as tell you guys what I'm going with. So, hopefully you guys find this video useful. Now, as always, for everybody that's new to the channel, I create these videos to help keep you updated on the latest developments in our community, as well as discuss technical topics so that we have a better understanding of how our engines work. So if you're interested in more videos like that, be sure to subscribe because there will be a lot more coming out in the future. So yeah, we're going to be going big turbo on the 340i, and I'm going to just share some of my thoughts in this video. So maybe if some of you guys are on the fence about doing it, you can understand from the perspective of somebody that's done it before why I'm doing it again. So first things first is, we've talked about this before, but the B58 engine is very underrated. We've learned over the years it can handle 600 horsepower and 600 foot-pounds of torque pretty reliably, and in my opinion that's kind of like the happy spot. 600 horsepower, 600 foot-pounds, it's great, works consistent, doesn't really break the transmission or anything like that, and you're still able to get some really good performance out of the car. And so that's kind of my goal with the setup right now. Getting an ethanol mix and getting up to around that level should work really well for my goals. Another big thing is, at this point I've done everything else to support a big turbo setup. So you guys know I have cams, I've got port injection, everything except maybe like an upgraded transmission to really max out a turbo. But I think that this is going to be a really easy way to achieve those numbers, since I already have all the supporting mods. I showed you guys in some of my previous videos that a lot of what I didn't make a huge difference on the stock turbo. It was able to squeeze out a little bit more power, and I got a little bit more performance, especially the torque down low. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not nearly as effective as upgrading your turbo. Now, speaking of effective, let's talk about how good the value is on our cars with these upgraded turbos, because a lot of people don't truly appreciate how much we can get with like $2 to $3 grand on our cars. A lot of the turbos are just really, really cheap, and you're able to pair it with an upgraded fuel system, and the car just handles it with ease. So it's, I think, a win-win for us, especially, again, if you try to put every single bolt-on fuel system upgrade, whatever, on a stock turbo setup, it can get pretty quick. You can strip out your car and all of that stuff. But an upgraded turbo is kind of like the next step after you've gone bolt-ons and an upgraded fuel pump. I think that turbo is the next big thing to make your car faster. A lot of people ask me if they can add port injection, meth injection, and all this stuff to push the stock turbo further, because they're just really apprehensive to upgrade the turbo. But to me, based on the value and the actual capacity for power you have on some of these setups, it's definitely the best value upgrade for most people. And now I can truly take advantage of all those supporting mods that I put on the car that gave me an extra, maybe 5% gains on the stock turbo. Now it's going to be able to support, 20 to 30% more power with an upgraded turbo. So definitely a win-win in my book. Now, the last thing, of course, is I want to go faster on track. You guys saw my videos last year, and I plan on tracking again this year. I've actually already picked my next track day, so that's going to be coming in the next coming months. So I really want to make sure that the car is faster the next time that I go to the track. If you guys saw some of my previous footage, you'll see that I was struggling to pass some cars, and frankly, nowadays 400 horsepower is not enough to pull on people drag racing at a track. A lot of cars come with 400 to 500 horsepower, Coyotes and Corvettes and all this stuff. So it's really hard to keep up with them, and it's kind of annoying when you're faster than them in the turns, but when you get to a straight, they've got to like hit the brakes or lift in order to let you pass. And of course, a lot of people were surprised to see that, but I track my car on pump gas. I don't run ethanol. So when I was on the track last year, even with my cams and everything else, I'm estimating the car was around 400 wheel horsepower. So again, when I'm chasing these cars that are making about that, I'm not going to be any faster than them. Now, the good news is when you upgrade your turbo, you make more power on pump gas. And I don't know where this misconception or lie came from that upgrading your turbo doesn't make sense if you're not going to run ethanol, because it absolutely does. Now, of course, you can make more power with an ethanol mix, but with everything side by side, you know, if you're running pump gas on the stock turbo versus pump gas on an upgraded turbo, it's going to be a faster setup. So there's really a nice gain to be had there, and a lot of people underestimate it when they don't run ethanol and they're trying to find something else they can do to make power. Just put a bigger turbo on the car. You'll typically land around 500 wheel, which is similar to what a stock turbo will make on ethanol, but you'll be able to make more power in the higher RPMs. It'll be a lot more fun to drive. It'll be a lot more consistent and reliable without having to worry about filling your meth injection up or finding an ethanol pump. The car will just work. And so it's a win-win. And for me, getting between 450 to 500 on the track will be perfect. That'll give me the passing power that I want for some of the cars I was struggling with last year, and just give me more room to grow when I'm driving on the street and I have ethanol available. Now, even with the upgraded turbo, I'm going to be running a conservative tune. I like to run low boost on track just to keep things consistent. You know, when you're running laps after laps after laps, you're going to be generating a lot of extra heat and stuff like that. So even when you guys see me tracking on pump gas, don't expect it to be flying, but it's definitely going to be faster than the stock turbo with the same fuel. So now the big question, what did I go with? And I'm happy to share with you guys that I am going to be testing out a new turbo upgrade from Dynamic Autowerks. And by the time this is posted, there might be a little more information out there. So I'm just going to share what I know I can share right now, but as more information comes out, I'll put it in future videos and talk about it more. But basically, this is an upgraded turbo that's going to have a higher flowing exhaust housing so that the car can spool more quickly while still making the same, if not more, horsepower. So this is one of the big things that I was apprehensive about with the hybrid turbo, because, you know, a lot of people are concerned with EGTs and things like that. So with these upgraded, you know, stock location turbos, they're going to be using a stock looking manifold, but it's going to be completely cast and set up by Dynamic Autowerks. So it's going to have bigger ports, it's going to be higher flowing, which allows it to make more power as well as spool more quickly. So for me, that's a perfect setup for my goals. And I was talking to the owner at Dynamic Autowerks, and I was sharing with him, you know, I'm not looking for drag racing numbers or being like the fastest car on the block. I just want to be able to have good, consistent performance on track with a little bit more speed. And if you guys have been paying attention to the Dynamic Autowerks marketing and stuff, you know that spool time is one of their priorities. They want a turbo that spools quickly and still makes more power with a wide power band. So I'm excited to test out this new turbo. Again, hopefully it'll be fully announced soon and everything, but you guys just keep your eye out. It's basically going to be similar to the ones they made before, with higher flowing housing so that it spools quicker and makes more power. There will also be more than one version. So again, because of my goals, I'm sticking with the smaller version, but there will be a bigger version that can support even more power. It'll make more power than the old Ultra Flow and basically any other Flowmax turbo that was made before it. So that'll kind of be like the drag race turbo. It'll still have good spool, but it'll support a lot more power. But I'm going to be running the smallest one, so that way I can get the quickest spool possible, get good response, especially when I'm coming out of turns and stuff like that, and just make the car easier to manage when I'm tracking it. So yeah, I'm super excited to do this. You know, again, a big shout out to Dynamic Autowerks for extending this opportunity to me and supporting my build with this new turbo so that we can try it out and see what it's really capable of. I think I'm going to be pleasantly surprised, and I think a lot of you guys will be surprised as well. Let me know if there's anything specific that you want to see. Of course, I'll be documenting the install, the tuning, and some of the final results once I get it all the way dialed in. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm just trying to plan out things and of course finish preparations for my next track day so that the car has another great outing. But yeah, again, thank you guys for your support. More coming soon. And I think that's it for this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.